Yeah, good morning students. Today we will talk about rational equations and finding its domain. Before going to the topic, let me talk about finding the factors for the given polynomial. So we can find the factors for the given polynomial by using the formula like a square minus b square equals a plus b times a minus b, right? So if you look at the first problem over here, that is in the form of a square minus b square. So here a equals square root of x square, which gives you x, and b equals square root of 25, which equal to 5. Okay, now this problem, the answer or the factors for this one is a plus b times a minus b. So it is x plus 5 times x minus 5. Okay, right. That is one way of finding out the factors. The second one is, this is a quadratic expression. So we can find the factors for the quadratic expression by finding the factors. So here your a is 1. So if you multiply 1 and negative 54, which gives you negative 54, right? So the factors of negative 54, which gives you negative 3, right? So I can take the factors as negative 9 and 6. I am considering these two are the factors because by adding negative 9 plus 6, which gives me negative 3. So the factors will be x minus 9 and x plus 6. Okay, all right. Now how do we do this third problem? Right, to solve this third problem, this is the fourth degree polynomial which will have exactly 4 different values. Okay, how to find out those 4 different values I will explain you in the next coming over topics, but right now we are finding out the factors. The first thing we can do here is, what number goes in 6, 24 and 16? That is the greatest common factor which divides 6, 20 and 16 is 2, right? And what about the variable? So here we have x square, x cube and x to the 4th. So the common factor we can take out from x square, x cube and x to the 4th power is x square, right? So now how to get the inside values, that is inside the parenthesis, how to write these values? So what you need to do is, take the first term 6x to the 4th and divide by 2x square. Okay, whatever you get, that goes inside the parenthesis, so which is 3x square. Do the same thing here also, divide this everything second term by 2x square, so which gives you plus 10x, and you divide this one by 2x, which gives you 2x square, sorry, 2x square, which gives you 8. Okay. Now again, to find the factors for this quadratic expression which you have inside the parenthesis, first you need to multiply 3 and negative 8, right? So 3 times negative 8, which gives you negative 24. So the factors of negative 24, which gives you positive 10. So I can take those two factors as 12 and negative 2, because by adding up these two factors, which gives me positive 10. So how to find the factors for this? As we discussed in the previous classes, so what we do here is we keep two parentheses here and bring down that variable and the number 3x and put 3x here also, and whatever the factors you got here you write down here. So 3x plus 12 and 3x minus 2. Okay, but this is not the factors we are looking for, because if you multiply these two, this will become 9x square, which is not right. So what number goes in both 3 and 12? So the common number which is divisible by 3 and 12 is 3. So it is 2x square times, what is this value? 3x divided by 3, that is x plus 4 times 3x minus 2. Okay, right. Now the problem number 4th one is we have to factor this one. We have to find the factors by grouping. So first let me group the first two terms here and next two terms like this. Now how to find the factors over here? So for this, what I do first here is, what is common again? What is the variable and the number goes in the first two terms? So the first, the greatest common factor goes in both these two is 2 and the variable is a, right? So here also 2 and a. So I can write this one as 2a times x minus 5y, right? Okay, now here negative 3bx and positive 5by. So in these two I can divide this one by what? Negative 3b, and here also negative 3b. So that comes over here as negative 3b parenthesis x minus I don't know, this is giving me some trouble, x minus 5y. Okay, so what is common in both these two terms? So I can take this x minus 5 as common. So this is x minus 5y. When you take this as your common term, what is left out here? The left out number value is 2a, put 2a here, and negative 3b. Okay, so all of you are good? Right. Yeah, these are the important 4 problems we discussed before we do the rational equations or rational expressions. Okay, actually, let me go to the next page so that we can talk about the rational expressions. Okay, now what is a rational expression? How do we define this one? So the definition part I gave it here. If P and Q are polynomials where Q is non-zero, we call the ratio P over Q is a rational expression. Means in a simple way I can say that any fraction, okay, any fraction that is, you will have numerator and denominator, right? So numerator can be what? Any number. So it can be any number, but the denominator cannot be 0, right? So this cannot be 0 because something over 0 is you cannot define, it is undefined value, like some 3 over 0. This is undefined. So now instead of a number, if you take any polynomial in the numerator and a polynomial in the denominator, that is called a rational expression. For example, it is, suppose if you have some x square plus 3x plus 2 all divided by some 2x plus 1, right? This is called a rational expression. Now, can you say for what value of x the denominator will be equal to 0? If x equals negative 1/2, this part, that is denominator, will be 0, right? So we say that the domain, in some other words, we can say domain is all real numbers except negative 1/2. Okay, now we will discuss about domain and range of rational equations or rational expressions, okay, in coming over classes. Okay, but first of all, this is what about the rational expression. The second thing is rational function. So already I gave you the definition, you can copy down this definition. Only the thing is, if any function, a function is called a rational function if the two polynomials are divided and which is represented by another function. So here, in some other words, sometimes we represent this one by just what is P over Q. So P over Q means, here this means P of x divided by Q of x, right? Sometimes they will ask you to find out the value of P over Q of some 3. So what we do? We substitute this value. This is nothing but P over Q of x, right? Because x is the variable here. So you plug in x equals 3, that gives you the value of the function P over Q of 3, right? Okay, let me pause the video for a minute. So okay, now let us discuss some problems on how to find out or how to simplify the rational function first of all, and after that we will discuss about the domains, and after that we discuss about the quotient, how to find out how to divide two polynomials and so on. Okay, this is a very simple problem, right? Everybody knows this one. F of x is given over here, so you need to find out f of 6. Just substitute x equals 6 in the given polynomial. So f of 6 equals, it is 6 minus 5 over 6 square minus 4. So 6 minus 5 gives you 1. This is 36 minus 4, which gives you 32. Okay. Now in the same way, and your f of negative 3 here is negative 3 minus 5 divided by negative 3 square. So whenever you are squaring, you have to keep that value in the parenthesis. So which equals negative 8 divided by negative 3 square, which is 9 minus 4, which equals negative 8 divided by 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay. Right. Now let us go to the other example. Example number 2. Okay. So I told you just now about domain, right? So domain is nothing but what? Domain of a rational function f of x equals p of x over q of x is the set of all real numbers except those numbers that when you substitute it for x, it is equal to 0. So what you need to do to find out the domain of any function? Okay, you find out for what values of x the denominator becomes 0. So the values of x for the denominator equals 0. Okay, so you'll be getting some values. For example, you got some x equals some alpha and beta. If these two are real numbers, then you can say that the domain is nothing but the set of all real numbers except alpha and beta, or minus alpha beta. Okay, or else you can write this one as set of all real numbers except alpha and beta. It means from the set of all real numbers, just you take away alpha and beta, that gives you your domain. So it's very simple, right? Okay, now if you look at this problem number 1, example 2, problem number 1, so 2 over x minus 3. So what I told you, equal the denominator to 0, that is x minus 3 equals 0, add 3 on both sides, so x equals 3, right? So your domain is set of real numbers except 3, right? Okay, in the same way, look at the second problem. The denominator is equal to 0, that is x square minus 4 equals 0. So this is in the form of a square minus b square. So we know that it is x plus 2. The factors are x plus 2 and x minus 2 equals 0. So x equals negative 2 and or positive 2, right? So your domain is all real values except negative 2 and positive 2. It means from the set of real numbers, you cannot consider the values negative 2 and positive 2. Other than these two values, everything you can take. Means if you substitute anything other than negative 2 and positive 2 in the given function, okay, you will get some value, right? That is what the function says. Okay, all right. Now Let us go to the next slide. Right. So find the domain of the rational function. So how to find out the domain? Same method we follow, but here the denominator is x square plus 5x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, we cannot get the values of x by factorization method because the factors of 2 never it gives you 5. So what we should do? So find out the values of x by using the formula. What is the formula we have? X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a, right? I think so all of you remember this formula. Now your a equals how much here? 1, b equals 5 and c equals 2. So substitute these values in this formula. So that is negative 5 plus or minus square root of 5 square minus 4 times 1 times 2 all divided by 2 times 1. Alright. So that is negative 5 plus or minus 25 minus 8. So 25 minus 8 gives you 17, right? So square root of 17 divided by 2. So this is, you will be getting some value over here because this is square root of 17. This is some real number, right? So your domain will be set of real numbers except negative 5 plus or minus square root of 17 divided by 2. Okay. Alright. Now next one. Here what is the denominator you have? Denominator equals 0 again. So that is x square plus 10 equals 0. Subtract 10 on both sides. So x square equals negative 10. X equals square root of negative 10, which gives you plus or minus 10i. Why we get I? Because square root of any negative number is imaginary number. So can I say that domain is all real values? Because we got imaginary here, right? Your domain is, means when x equals positive 10i and negative 10i, this function cannot be defined, right? But so what is the domain then? Domain is the set of all real numbers. Got it? Okay. Right. Now how to simplify the rational functions? Right. Just factor the numerator and denominator and cancel the common factors on the top and bottom. I should not say top and bottom. That is in the numerator and denominator, whatever the common terms you have, you cancel it out. That is called simplifying. Simplifying means what? Reducing the terms in the numerator and denominator. Okay. So your function is f of x equals. So this is a quadratic equation, but you see the numbers before the quadratic equation, all numbers are even numbers, right? So it is 2, 6 and 20. So can I take out 2 as a common factor? Yeah. So what remains here? This is x square minus 3x minus 10 divided by, even here also we have 2 and 50, so the GCF or the common factor is 2 here again, it is x square minus 25, right? So this 2 and 2 will be crossed out. Now factors of negative 10. Factors of negative 10, which gives you negative 3. So it is negative 5 and 2, because when you add these two you get negative 3, right? So the factors for the numerator are x minus 5 and x plus 2 divided by, so what about denominator? This is in the form of a square minus b square, right? So how do you find out your a? A equals square root of x square, which gives you x. B equals square root of 25, which gives you 5. So we know that a square minus b square is a plus b times a minus b. So this is equal to x plus 5 times x minus 5. So the common factor in the numerator and denominator is x minus 5. So I have crossed out x minus 5. So this equals x plus 2 over x plus 5. So can you say what is your domain here? So domain is, okay, they didn't ask you to find out the domain, but for your information I am giving you this value also. Domain is the set of real numbers except what? Negative 5. And you know one thing, we also call this x equals negative 5 is an extraneous solutions. Okay, we'll talk about extraneous solutions in coming over topics, but right now try to find out the factors for the numerator and denominator and cancel out the terms which is common. Then whatever you get, that is the answer. Okay? All right. Oh, this is another problem. We have to find the factors for the numerator and denominator. See, already told you about this one. You remember? That is, in our Bell work, when you have 4 terms, you can find the factors by grouping, right? But in the numerator, we have third degree, but we can take out the GCF common. That is, the variable x is common from the numerator. So f of x equals, first I am taking out x common, so that is x square minus 5x plus 6 divided by, so what I am doing here is I want to find out the factors by grouping. I am taking out the first 2 terms in one parenthesis and next another 2 terms in another parenthesis, and find out the common factor from x cube and 2x square. So can I take x square out? Okay, so x square common, so you get x minus 2 here and minus 9 common, that is x minus 2. Okay, so again what? We have 1 here, right? So a times c, that is 6. Find the factors of 6, which gives you negative 5. So that is negative 3 and negative 2, because when you add up these two, it will give you negative 5. So your factors are x times x minus 3 and x minus 2 all divided by x square minus 9. So because this is the left out term, when you take out this x minus 2 common from these two. Okay, now this equals x times x minus 3 x minus 2 divided by, this is the first factor which is in the form of a square minus b square. So your a equals square root of x square, which gives you x. B equals square root of 9, which gives you 3. So the factors are x plus 3, x minus 3 and x minus 2, right? Now do you have anything common in the numerator and denominator? Yeah, you can see x minus 3 and x minus 3 which will be crossed out, x minus 2, x minus 2. So the answer is x divided by x plus 3. Okay, right, this is the answer. Right, simplify the right hand side of an equation. So this is a very simple one. So the numerator is quadratic expression. So the factors of negative 12, which I should get it as negative 1. So it is negative 4 and positive 3, because by adding up these two we get negative 1. Okay, now one more thing, we have 4 minus x in the denominator, right? So I want to see always the variable first and then constant next. So what I do here is I will take negative 1 outside, that is common from these two. So this becomes x minus 4. It is same thing as before this one, right? These two are same, because when you distribute negative 1 times x, you get negative x. Negative 1 times negative 4, which is positive 4, which is the same thing. Okay, anyway, so the factors for the numerator is x minus 4 and x plus 3 divided by negative 1 times x minus 4. So x minus 4 will be crossed out. X plus 3 divided by negative 1, or it is negative 1 of x plus 3, or it is negative x minus 3. Okay, all right. Yeah, this is quotient functions, means when you divide these two functions f over g. See, I told you in the beginning of this section, what do you mean by f over g? F over g, I can write it as f over g of x also, because the given function is in terms of x. So which gives you f of x over g of x. right? What is your f of x here? 8x cube minus 25. So this one, 8x cube minus 25. See, the first one is the cube of which number? 2, right? So, or else you can find the value of a and b like this. A equals cube root of 8x cube, which is 2x, and b equals cube root of 125, which gives you 5. Right, this is a and b. Alright, okay. So what is a cube minus b cube formula? Do you remember? Anyway, I'll give you that. A cube minus b cube equals a minus b times a square plus a times b plus b square. Okay. And what about this one? This is a square minus b square. That one we know already, right? A plus b times a minus b. So I'm keeping an arrow over here. What's your a? Is square root of 4x square, which is 2x, and b equals square root of 25, which equals 5. Okay. Alright, f of x over g of x. See, already we got your a and b. Just substitute or plug in that formula. Then what you get? So a minus b, that is 2x minus 5, right? A square, that is 2x square, plus a times b, 2x times 5, plus b square, that is 5 square, whole divided by a plus b times a minus b, that is 2x plus 5 and 2x minus 5. So we are not done yet with the second term in the numerator here. So we have to simplify that one first. So that is 2x minus 5 times 4x square plus 10x plus 25. Everything is divided by 2x plus 5 and 2x minus 5. Okay. Now what is common in the numerator and denominator? 2x minus 5. These two will be crossed out. So the answer is 4x square plus 10x plus 25 divided by 2x plus 5. Right, this is the answer for the first problem. And the second one you see here, this is nothing but what? F divided by g of x, right? So we got that value here, that is 4x square plus 10x plus 25 divided by 2x plus 5. Now we need to find out f divided by g of 3. So one thing you can do here is to plug in 3 for x, or substitute x equals 3 in this function, that is 4 times 3 square plus 10 times 3 plus 25 divided by 2 times 3 plus 5. This is 9 times 4, 36 plus 30 plus 25, 6 plus 5. So which equals, how much is this? 30 plus 25 plus 36. This is 66, 66 plus 25, 81, okay, 81 divided by 11. Yeah, this will be your answers. Okay, all right. Let me see if you have any other problems over here, or this is the last problem. Okay. Let me give you one problem, and I will pause for a minute. You do this problem, okay? So f of x equals 3x cube minus x square, and h of x equals 9x square minus 1. So find find f divided by h and f over h of -2. Alright, I will pause for a minute and you solve this. So if you get your answer for f over h of x equals x square divided by 3x plus 1 and f over h of -2 equals -4 divided by 5, then your answer is right. So good luck, students. We'll come with a new topic that is, we are going to discuss about how to multiply, how to divide, and addition and subtractions of the rational equations when you have different denominators and denominators. All those things we'll discuss in the next video. Good luck, students. Bye.